What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So this video is basically going to be me basically doing this tiger face paint look. I hadn't done like an animal face paint in like a month or so I had this idea, like I have been thinking about this tiger face paint for like at least a solid week, and like I had literally like drew it out and like had ideas about how I want to go about it. So whenever I do looks like that, it just feels good because it feels like I scratched a certain part of my brain that it kept like ideas kept popping up in my head, and I just had to get it over with and do it. But I felt like for this look, I wanted to try something different. I really was just going with the flow. There were times when I was doing this look where I was like, I don't know about this. Like, this is not giving what I want to give. But I kept going and it ended up looking so freaking cute. So I love to see it. And if y'all want to see me do any particular like animal face prints, like please let me know. I've done a leopard 10 million different times. I've done a lion, and I do want to do like a chameleon possibly. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, I'm taking this like white like cream product, and I'm basically making the shape for like the white part of a tiger's face, like by his eyes and stuff. So I wanted to go ahead and do this because I wanted the like base for like my eyeshadow and stuff done the first. That way I can go in it to basically go into like this whole like process how I normally do like my makeup and stuff, and that means I need to do my eyes first. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and like create this like abstract kind of looking shape, but also try to match them and like make it look as symmetrical as possible. When I do face paints like this, where I'm going to cover my face with like a majority of a cream product or something that's necessarily not a foundation or whatever, I like to make sure that I hydrate my face. So you saw me using two different primers, and I used a jelly gripping primer. I like to use that type of primer whenever I'm doing face paints, just to make sure that like all the products are sticking and like basically just layering it as well as possible. I don't usually go for like mattifying products just because I don't want my face to be too dried out, because whenever I'm using like different cream products or products that aren't necessarily for like covering your entire face, sometimes like those products can make your skin feel a little bit dry, and then I'm having to do layers upon layers. So it's like I just want to try and keep as much hydration as possible when it comes to my skin and my face. And then now I'm going to basically draw on my eyebrows now that I've set the base, and I feel like it looks as good as I can get it. And then I just want to make sure I do these brows like, I don't want to say as seamless because I will clean them up, but I want to try to be as careful as possible because I don't want to like mix the black and the white, even though it would have been a gray, which wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But I do want to take my time and try to be careful, because whenever I do my makeup looks, like when I really like a look, I love to try to be as crisp as possible because I feel like it just eats down. So basically, after I cleaned up my brows, I just went in with a white pigment from Jelly Cosmetics. It's one of their neon prismatic pigments, and I use this because I wanted that pigmentation from the white to pop a little bit more. Whenever I do my face paints, I usually will just use the Jelly Cosmetics, like either the neon or the chalk neon prismatic pigments, and sometimes I'll mix it in with like a translucent powder or a powder that's like similar in shade, but I don't always do that. So that's why you saw me using that white to basically try and get that white on my like eye area as opaque as possible. And I'm going in with this ColourPop palette. This is the Blow and Smoke palette. I use this usually whenever I'm doing a smoky eye. This is one of my favorite ones to go for. And when I was thinking about this eye look, I felt like I should do a smoky eye just because I feel like the area around a tiger's face, it has like the black features and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to do something sultry, and I didn't want to necessarily do like an orange or like a brown, to basically like add that like lighter shade and that transition for the ombre effect for this. So I was like, you know what, the gray, I feel like the gray is going to eat, and I absolutely love how it came out. And I feel like this is a decent palette. I've only used a couple different shades. I usually don't use the shimmers because I'm usually doing something completely different, and I just need like the black and like the gray to basically do my smoky eye. But if y'all want to see me do a particular look with this palette, please let me know. And if you know me, you know that I like to make sure I basically recreate what I did on top of my eyes, underneath my eyes, just to make it a little bit more seamless when it comes to transition, especially since I have like eyeshadow. I don't necessarily like cut the side, because I used to, when I was doing makeup like years ago, there was that tape technique that you would put it and you would lift it up and it would be like a seamless like line. I used to do that all the time, but like I stopped doing it, and I kind of like my eyeshadow how it is now. And it's easier when you're doing a smoky eye or just like trying to add shadow underneath your eye. I try to use a denser like brush, if that makes sense. That way I don't have like eyeshadow all over the place, because there's like a certain like area for my eye where it looks good, like it doesn't look too crazy, but if I take it down too far, Yeah, it's not the vibe. So I basically use like this like cream product in the middle because I wanted to go based off of a lot of tigers, like their eyes are green, and I didn't have any contacts, and I really do want to kind of get into like wearing like color contacts because I feel like that would just elevate my looks. But I added a like chameleon pigment from Jelly Cosmetics on top of that cream, and I just feel like it eats. Like this smoky eye is one of my favorite smoky eyes as of recently, and I basically added the same thing underneath my eyes just to like bring it all together. And I'm taking this shadow stick from About Face. This is the Kill the Lights shadow stick. This is one of my favorite ones. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like literally, if I had to pick only one eyeshadow product for like my tight line, it would be that shadow stick. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then I'm using this Milk Cosmetics mascara, and I'm trying to make sure I cover my entire lash and make sure there's no like pigment or anything, or especially not that white powder like showing up on my lashes. This mascara is a newer mascara that I recently bought, but I actually like it because I feel like it's big enough to get like that volumizing effect on my top lashes, but I feel like it has like those skinny areas which are really good for underneath my like bottom lashes. That way I don't have mascara everywhere. And now I'm basically going to add the white areas of my face wherever I feel like there needs to be white, as me like trying to like create that same like color pattern or like texture as a tiger's face. So I'm using that same thing I used earlier. It's this Ben Nye Clown White like makeup, and it's a cream one. If I didn't use this one, I would have either used the Color Fix from the Nesta Myers Beauty and Lift, which is the white one, or I would have used my Bay My Bitchel color case, and that's basically like a cream. Like it's basically like a similar product to this, but I try to use that whenever I'm trying to like mix shades. Whenever I'm trying to just do solid white, I try to use that Ben Nye one, and then I'm going in with the Ben Nye like super white powder just to try and set everything. And the reason why I like to use the white one is, once again, so I can try and create as much opaqueness when it comes to white as possible, because I feel like whenever I try to do a clown makeup or like a makeup where there's a white base, it always gives me so much trouble. Like I've been trying to use so many different products and like try to layer it correctly and like try different techniques, and I still have not been able to get it down. So you know, this summer I'm going to try to perfect this because I would love to like drop some clown makeup looks for spooky season. I know spooky season is a little far away, but for me, I like to make sure I have enough content. And I know last year or like a couple months ago, like I really was trying to post every single day October. I really got close to it, and I'm gonna try it for a Pride season. So you know, stay tuned because I have so many looks, you know, coming, and that's why I had to go ahead and get this look out, because I was like, I really want to post this look, and you know, I know I'm gonna have to post like Pride looks in a week, so I had to get some of my looks out. And then some other ones that I've done like a month ago, you'll have to see them in July. It is what it is. But you know, I'm just trying to, you know, stay on task, because I feel like whenever I push myself to do makeup looks for like seasons like spooky season or Pride season or just Christmas, stuff like that, I feel like it really just pushes my artistry, because no one is ever telling me to basically do a makeup look. I am someone like, I just love doing makeup. Like, yes, you know, I would love to be able to like make money off of this stuff, but it's something that I would do for free because I genuinely love to do my makeup. I love trying different things. I get these creative ideas, and it's just like I have to make this happen. And I don't know, like this is just something that I feel like is me. I used to do face paint a lot growing up. You know, I started doing like makeup in like high school, and I remember like staying up, or like whenever I had like free moments and stuff where I wasn't working, I didn't have practice, I was over there doing my makeup like sometimes in the middle of the night. And like I remember I did this Spider-Man like lip drawing, and that shit ate. Like I did a couple different things that I feel like were top tier, but now as I look and like I see my style now, it just makes me really happy, because like this is the result of me practicing those years ago when I was really trying to be like some of these YouTubers who were killing the fucking game in like 2016, 2017. I was trying to like be on that same level, like Jackie Inon, Chef's Kiss, Alyssa, Ashley. Like there were just so many YouTubers that I felt like were killing that fucking shit, and I just wanted to be on the same level as them. And I know that I've mentioned this before, but one of the best ways to like basically make your like base a little bit more pigmented when you're doing like face paint or like basically a different color than your skin tone, I love using pigments. And I get the loose pigments from Jelly Cosmetics. They're usually the neon prismatic one and the chalk one, and they just enhance the color, because you know, it would take me like layers upon layers and just a whole bunch of extraness to get to like that pigmentation at sometimes. And it's just like, it's too much, because my face I already probably should not have this all over it, but you know, whatever, I'll do it for the look. I will do it for the look. And that's how I kind of just got this color to like be brighter than what it was, because the color at first, it was orange, but it wasn't giving the right color. So I'm glad that it turned out really good. And then I'm just spraying my face with a hydrating setting spray. Whenever I do my makeup and whenever I'm doing my face paint, I like to make sure I'm using a hydrating setting spray throughout the different layers, just to make sure I keep some of that moisture in, because I don't want to dry my face out with like a matte setting spray. So that's why I use the like hydrating one. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I love blush. I love blush. Am I blush line? Probably. I probably am, because I just did a look today and I'm like, yeah, I put that blush on. I put that shit on. And for some reason I was like, you know, I have to have blush. Like, I know I'm a tiger, but I need some blush. So I use like this like blush from the Lookz Beauty, and it's like liquid like blush. I don't use it all the time, but it is so pigmented. I probably should have added like less than I did, but you know, it is what it is. And I feel like it worked out, considering that I did like, you know, little designs on my face. I think it, you know, it did what it needed to do. And for a highlighter, I decided to use this loose highlighter from Beats by Deb Cosmetics, and it's the Ice Me Out one. I love using this one, and since I was using like that glittery like highlighter, I decided to go ahead and use my glitter spray from One Size, the On Till Doll, that glitter spray. And yeah, like this shit is showy as fuck, but it is cool to have like a glittery face every now and then, because I love glitter so much. Like, if you can't tell, I love glitter. And for my nose, I want to use the color fix from the Lookz Beauty to basically create my nose. If you've watched any of my videos and like looked at my Instagram or my TikTok, you've probably seen me talk about the color case from Made by Mitchell and then the color fix from Lookz Beauty. These are two of my favorite products, like in general. I'm talking about face paint and not face paint, just because of the versatility of those products. So to kind of just like describe the difference between the two, the Lookz Beauty color fix is basically like a liquid product, and it dries down matte, and the color case from Made by Mitchell also dries down matte, but it's a different consistency. And I feel like it's easier for me to do more of my illustrations and stuff using the color fix, just because, you know, it's not as hard to work with as cream. I feel like cream sometimes, like the way it dries, like sometimes it doesn't like that when it comes to like my skin and stuff. And I'm using the color fix to basically do like the little like designs on my forehead and whatnot. And I feel like this is just an easier product to use, because I wouldn't have to warm it up as much as I would if I had to warm up those cream like products from the color case. At the end of the day, I love both products, but I would definitely choose the color fix. If I had to pick a favorite, it definitely would be the color fix. I've used it to do like my brows. I did it earlier today for my brows in this look. I've used it for concealer, foundation. I've used it for lipstick, like graphic designs. I've used it for an eyeshadow base. I've used it for so many different things, and it is that versatile. You can use it for blush. And I feel like that's just what I like about that product, because it's easy to work with. You know, I don't have to do too much. It's kind of like using a paint for your face. That's like the most, like, I don't know, I feel like that's the best product to kind of like compare it to when you think about it. Like, basically, if there was a makeup company that, you know, sold paint, like your face is a canvas, I feel like that would be the best product. I've used this for my like forehead illustrations, and it just has helped so much. And I feel like when I first started, like when I first found out about it, I used the black one, and that just changed the game for me in general, because I was doing like graphic liners and stuff like that, and it was just so much easier to work with than the other products I had. And then once I really found out that I really like this product, I ended up buying the white one. And then from then, like, you know, I started buying more and more and more. They have released the like pastel collection, like a spring one, like this time last year, or like probably like in maybe February or March of last year, and I did get a couple of those. And then like sometime last summer-ish, like the Lookz Beauty had a sale, and all the color fix were $10, and normally they're $20. And I just restocked on a couple of them because they had the Memorial Day sale, and I did need some like re-ups on certain things because I was running out. But yeah, those $10 ones, I was like, oh yeah, I'm finna like stock up my collection. So I have almost the entire collection. It is something that I just absolutely love. I would never get rid of my color fix. Like, I have used almost probably like 4 or 5 of them like completely. Like, I ran out of Blackout completely forever ago. I'm almost out of Lift, which is that white one. I'm almost out of Valentine, Obsidian, Lemonade. There's a couple different ones I'm like very close to like also like using up. And some of the colors aren't available on the website, but I feel like they're probably going to drop something, you know, later on this summertime. So if they do, I definitely will update y'all. And I actually bought the color case, the color fix like case for it. So basically it has like spots for me to put the little containers in. And I love it so much because it has, I forgot how many, like maybe space for like what did I say? There's like 5 on each, so about 20 maybe. Like, wait, no, yes, 20. But yeah, I definitely suggest it. If you have a lot of color fix, you might as well get the case because it's a little bit easier to organize everything. So at this moment when it came to the makeup, you know, I felt like I was cooking with grease finally, because at first I was like, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if this is going to look how I really want it to look. And it came out really good and I absolutely love it. I'm setting my face again with that hydrating. Well, it's kind of a hydrating setting spray. It's a Dewy Bounce from Beauty Crop, and that's a brand that's like in the UK. I usually get off of Beauty Bay. I haven't bought anything from there in a little bit because I'm scared of tariffs, but that's where I would get it from. And then to just like make my nose a little bit more vibrant, I went in with these pigments from Cosmetics. I use like a hot pink one and that lighter pink just to like add a little bit more dimension. And I'm drawing my moles back on. I know that I am a tiger, but I don't know. I feel like drawing my moles back on just gives Ariel. And then I want to put some rhinestones in my eyebrow slit because once again, that is just my style. So I use the Flounder ones from Get Stone, and I just use the back, like the bottom of a like brush, and I use those to place the stones. I picked them up from the top, and then now I'm like setting my face for real, where I use that Scratch by Cat Set in Place setting spray, which I absolutely love. And I'm going in with my INV Feline Vibe lashes in the 04. One of my favorite lashes. I have restocked this for almost a year, probably a year longer than that now. And then for my lip, I want to do a solid black lip. I usually don't do just like a solid colored lip, but I felt like it was called for this look. So I'm using my Beauty Bakery Lip Whip and Midnight Truffles. That's what it's called. I was getting confused with another lipstick. But I absolutely love these lipsticks. I feel like they are very much like high pigmented. You know, they wear pretty well. And usually like whenever I use liquid lipsticks, I'm putting them like on the bottom and I'm putting gloss on top. And I feel like it just makes the gloss a little bit more pigmented. But I'm trying to make sure that my entire lip is even and like all of it is black. And then I'm going to go in with some gloss later on. But before I do that, I'm putting on my lashes. I like to put a like mirror underneath my face, like kind of tilt it at an angle just so I can see if it's like actually on my lash line and where I need to hold it down. And I cut out a lot of footage whenever I do my like lashes because girl, it be taking me a second sometimes to put these on, but like I try to hold them down. Like once I get them in the place I want to do, I just hold it down a little bit. And I want to add some little sparkle to my nose, so I use this loose highlighter from what is that from? Celebrity Cosmetics, and that was in the Tink Tink. And I'm using this lip oil, the Twilight one. I think this is Team Jacob from Colorbop. And yeah, I just want to like make my lip a little bit glossy, and this is basically it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.